Tiana, Khadijah, Lenny Carvel, him, her, bodies. They're all dead. Click. Yeah, that's it. That's the same.
So if you can see the screen, the text on the screen is please eat. Appetitos are on sale right now. I don't know what that is. Someone asks her, how does one achieve such a build? We have, do you know how nice eating food is? And do you have an ED? I cannot believe the comments that people are often willing to leave on other people's posts on social media. As if the creator behind the post is not a human being whose feelings can get hurt. The creator, in this case, who has done such a great job with this post, includes a caption that says, guys, I am okay. Genetics plus fast metabolism equals skinny. That's why you'll never catch me going full body on TikTok, because it gets old trying to explain the same thing that's hard to change over and over. And in her comments, we have people saying things such as, it's crazy how it's only labeled body shaming when it's being done to bigger girls, which is a larger conversation that people really need to have, especially now, because I've been noticing the trend when it comes to people like Ariana Grande and even celebrities on the red carpet. They have been getting so much backlash for their bodies, but when it comes to plus size creators or plus size celebrities, it's like very quiet when it comes to that. But when it comes to tinier women or, smaller women, skinnier women, people are like, I can see that bone, I can see that she's looking good. It's so much shaming when it comes to being smaller, and when it comes to being bigger, it's like you're just allowed to be, but they don't afford smaller people the same freedoms. And the second person says, and they're not aware that it's body shaming. And now we come to what we are going to be discussing today, and someone says fast metabolism is the devil. I have been 47 kilograms for the past 5 years. I can't gain weight no matter how much I eat. 47 kilograms will be around 100 pounds thereabout. I will include the actual figure somewhere here. And putting the horrible body shaming to the side, can we focus on the genetics aspect? Skinny genes are the main focus in this and the other videos that I will share in this video. So what is up with this angle? Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Daisy, aka D, and I make weekly videos talking about weight loss beliefs that often complicate weight loss for women and make it harder for them to achieve the results that they want. And if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, I would love for you to join our community. Today we're going to be talking about skinny jeans, and not like the clothes but the jeans, the genetic makeup, and the effects on weight. I will be honest with you, we're going to have a bit of story time, a short story time here. I was chubby in high school, and by chubby, I mean that in my final year, I weighed in at 65 kilograms at some point. In pounds, that comes to about 143 pounds, and I was only 17 at that time, and I am 5'3". Granted, my ideal breakfast was a pack, like 4 packs of biscuits and a cup of sugary cocoa with creamer, but that did not stop me from thinking that some of my classmates had thin jeans, skinny jeans. After all, they also love sugary cocoa, and they happily drank soda and munched on biscuits like me. But while I was filling out my skirt and getting bigger year after year, they remained petite, just like they had been when we first joined high school. So ignoring the pile of biscuit wrappers in front of me, I concluded that our genes were just different. They had the skinny jeans and I did not, and that was why I was gaining weight. I see this skinny jeans argument a lot, not just online but also in everyday life. People somehow believe that some women can eat just about anything they want without ever gaining weight. So do some people just have it easy? Can you relate to this video? Okay, the text on the screen is forever jealous of the girls who are naturally skinny and never have had to worry about calories. I have to say that the comments on this video were hard to read. We have people saying, and I am the fattest in the group, and they wonder why I space out and don't tell them what I think. The next person says, I hate being skinny. Another person says, literally, how am I supposed to be full on 1700 calories if I'm up all night with my baby? I am starving, like genuinely. And someone says, literally, it got so bad, I got a calorie tracker app and it tells me when I cannot eat. And someone says, I don't know what she means because it starts with my lacy, but I'll focus on is the girls that have never sprayed perfume on their food. These are tough to read. I cannot imagine just how hard it must be for someone to get to the point of spraying their food just to stop eating so that they can lose weight, and they're spraying it with perfume. And yet at the same time, they think that there are people out there who can eat whatever they want without ever gaining weight. It can seem unfair if you do not understand what is really happening. Whether it is in the movies, TV shows like the Gilmore Girls, or even on social media or real life, many of us know a thin woman who seems to eat whatever she wants without gaining weight. And the more we see her down one pizza slice after another, it is easy to think that her body just works differently. Adding to this, diet culture has reinforced that our genes determine just how much weight we carry. Going by these, we assume that some people just have natural fat burners inside them, while others can gain weight just by passing by a cake shop. And it makes women feel helpless if they fall into the latter category, and that they have to work harder than others.
This is what I eat in a day as a 39-year-old mom of 4 who isn't naturally thin. I wasn't blessed with a super fast metabolism or some magical skinny genes, so I have to be very mindful about how I eat. So let me show you what I eat.
She believes that some people just have magical skinny genes, and that she has to be more careful around food if she wants to lose weight. This thinking is quite common. It does not also help that some movements such as fat acceptance and health at every size state that people's bodies are just the way they are, and that there is nothing that we can do to change that. Thin people will always be thin, and overweight and obese people will always carry a lot of body fat. And according to them, we should all just accept our fates. I will not come here and say that genetics have no role in the way that our bodies look. Not only do they influence where we hold our body fat, but they also play a role in our metabolism and appetite regulation, both of which can affect our weight. However, no matter your genes, we are all subject to the laws of energy balance, the laws of thermodynamics. And that means that if you consume more calories than your body needs, you will gain weight. And the converse also holds, such that if you consume fewer calories than your body needs, then you will lose weight. In fact, researchers conducted a meta-analysis of 9,563 individual participant data from 8 randomized controlled trials, and found that the gene that most people blame for obesity, the FTO gene, had no effect on weight loss, and that people were able to lose weight regardless of factors such as sex, age, and race if they were on calorie deficit, whether this was through diet, physical activity, or even weight loss drugs. We now know that people with obesity genes can lose weight. But how about the thin women who seem to eat just about anything without gaining weight? For instance, there is this creator who made this video.
You have any kids? Yes, I have one daughter. How about you? How many baby daddies do you have, if you don't mind me asking? Ellipses. I have one daughter. I understand that it's easy, but I say father.
So for those who can see the text on the screen, it's a skinny woman who is making this video. I don't know if skinny is the right term to use, because I will refer to her as lean because she has muscle mass. I can see the muscle mass. She definitely works out, and you can see that she has a good amount of muscle mass, lean muscle mass. So the first person says, "You're so skinny, do you eat?" And she says, "Yes, I actually eat a lot." And then someone says, "Impossible, you have no meat on your bones." And she says, "I just have a fast metabolism." And someone says, "You're so tiny, you really should not starve yourself." And she says, "I weigh 120 pounds. And the last person says, "Just make sure you're getting enough meals in," to which she responds, "I probably eat more meals than you do." And in her comments, you have people saying things such as, "Some people will kill to be skinny. I hope that's not true." And then someone says, "I have slow metabolism." Another person says, "I'm the same way. I have a fast metabolism." Someone else says, "I weigh 92. I never got over 100. Another person says, "Some people just don't understand." Someone else says, "The struggle of my life." Another person says, "I relate so much." It seems that she's not the only one who's considered naturally skinny. So do these women have an advantage over other people? Studies show that women who are considered naturally skinny are more likely to be doing one or more of the following things. First, they're probably being highly active. Think of those people who walk everywhere. They're always fidgeting. They're always restless. They have very active lifestyles. Think of people who work very active jobs. These people move around a lot, and often you find that they are skinny, and then people might just think that these people are just able to eat whatever they want, but they're not really looking at the kind of lives that they lead with the high non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Their NEAT is quite high usually. And then women who fall into this category also tend to have higher muscle mass, like you have seen with this creator. Women who do a lot of training that has resulted in them building a lot of lean muscle mass. You often find that they look naturally skinny, but what is really happening is that they have raised their metabolism because of the muscle mass that they have, because muscle is more metabolically active than fat. So you find that if they're very active and then they have this lean muscle mass, then they are able to increase their total daily energy expenditure just by those two things alone. And then the third one, when it comes to food, you find that these people usually tend to eat smaller smaller portions than they or other people even realize. That's the kind of person you go out to have dinner with and they're like, I'm very hungry, I'm really excited to have so much food on the menu. I used to have this friend, I mean, we're still friends, we're just living in different countries right now. She will say that she's so hungry and we'll go out to order food and she will order like biryani and naan or something else, and then I will also do the same thing, and then she'll be like 3 bites into her food and then she'll be like, I'm full, and we'll be looking at her like, how are you full? You said you were hungry. Her idea of hungry and her idea of portions was just very different from ours. So often you find that people who are skinny tend to eat smaller portions of food compared to what they think they are eating and compared to what other people think that they are eating. And also on food, you find that they tend to eat meals at a lower frequency compared to what they think they are eating or what other people think that they are eating. For example, you might have someone in your life who probably goes out to lunch and they eat like a big meal. Maybe you're with them at McDonald's and they order the same meal as you, but then what you don't know is that they probably did not have breakfast and they probably did not have dinner. And it's not that they are skipping these meals because they are trying to lose weight. It's just that for them, once they have that one meal, they are good to go for the rest of the day. And so people will say that I usually go out with so and so and they usually eat the same meals as I do, but then they don't gain weight. But then at the same time that they're saying that, they had breakfast before they went to McDonald's, and after McDonald's they passed through Starbucks, and then after Starbucks they went home and then they ate another meal. They're not eating the same, but then they conclude based on this one meal that they shared that they're eating the same, and the other person just has to have a fast metabolism. But of course there's always the aspect of higher metabolism. But as I stated in myth number 30, which you can find in my playlist or which I'll also link below, these variations are often minimal from person to person, and thus there's always a limit as to how much a person can push it. Why is that? According to research findings, when researchers control for factors such as age, height, and weight, variations in metabolism range from 5% to 8% for the most part. And that means that if the average person has a BMR of about 2000 calories a day, and researchers control for age, height, and weight, then the person with fast metabolism will burn around 2150 calories a day, and the person with slow metabolism will burn around 1850 calories a day. Of course, some conditions such as severe hyperthyroidism and severe hypothyroidism can push these numbers further up and further below. But for the most part, the gap from person to person based on metabolism is usually like 150 to 300 calories a day, which is quite small. Like that's like 3 to 6 Oreo sandwiches. It's not much. Research shows that while genetic makeup can predispose people to either being bigger or leaner than others, the overall weight comes down to lifestyle factors. That means that when diet, activity level, stress management, and sleep are taken into account, even people with thin or skinny genes can gain weight if they're eating at a surplus. And those with fat genes can lose weight by altering the same factors. For example, back in high school, I thought I had fat genes. And now, people often say that my weight is because I just happen to have skinny genes or thin genes. And they tell me that I cannot understand their concerns because I have been blessed with the good genes. But all I did was alter these factors to match the goals that I wanted to achieve. So how have I and other women done this? Whether or not you think that you have skinny genes or thin genes, it is important to remember that we are all subject to the laws of thermodynamics, that is energy balance. So while your genes may not be in your favor, such that they might predispose you to obesity, most of the other factors are within your control. So let us see how we can work with these factors to help you lose weight. And if I look like I am really burning up, it's because it is hot and I cannot turn on the AC because it will be loud and then the audio won't be clear. Hello, summer. So first, you need to be in a calorie deficit. Like I said, we are all subject to the laws of thermodynamics. And if you want to lose weight, you have to consume fewer calories than your body needs. Given the variations in our total daily energy expenditure, you have to figure out what applies to you as an individual, which you can do through free online calculators. I should add that these tend to be off, especially when I try them. In my case, I usually find that they are off. But you can use them to get a general idea of how much food you need to maintain your current weight. Then you can adjust these numbers based on whether you gain or lose weight when you're eating per that number that they have given you. And once you find your true maintenance calories, you can set a slight to moderate calorie deficit that will enable you to lose weight. Secondly, you need to increase your daily activity. Many people consider to have thin or skinny genes tend to have very busy lifestyles. Some of them work on their feet all day, others have very regular gym routines, and others just find themselves moving a lot during the day, like moms who are busy with their babies like 24/7. These people move a lot. No matter what they are doing, they often have high non-exercise activity thermogenesis, NEAT, which is NEAT. And since this accounts for as much as 20% to 30% of your total daily calorie burn outside the gym, you can can essentially increase your energy expenditure by moving more. Examples include walking, doing chores, taking the stairs, and so on. The more you move, the more calories you burn, and the more that you see changes in your physique and your skill. Thirdly, I would encourage you to build more muscle. This is especially important for women because we tend to lose lean muscle mass as we age, and this lowers our total daily energy expenditure and also decreases our functional strength, which can result in a loss of independence as we age. Building more muscle comes with added perks of being more metabolically active compared to fat, and this raises our basal metabolic rate. So if you have ever wanted to eat more food, it might be time to consider building more muscle. And to build muscle, it's not just about strength training. You also need to eat enough protein and get enough sleep. These two are nuanced such that what applies to one person may not necessarily apply to another person. I will link a video on how much protein you need below. And when it comes to sleep, the general consensus is that people who strength train should get at least 7 hours of high quality sleep every night, as this helps the body repair the tears in the muscle fibers and gives you muscle. Yeah, it gives you muscle. You really need to get that sleep. I think I show off my muscles in every video. I am really proud of them, so yes. People who seem naturally thin do not have exceptionally high metabolisms. Instead, many of them just have healthy habits that include moving more and eating more whole foods. Others don't even have these healthy habits, and they survive on soda and cookies, but they do not eat enough to gain weight. At the end of the day, as simplistic as it may sound, it is still about calories in versus calories out. And in cases where medical conditions such as severe hypothyroidism or severe hyperthyroidism or any other medical conditions are to blame, it is best to seek medical advice so that you can manage your weight, because excessive weight as well as being underweight comes with a myriad of health issues. I would love to know what you think about the debate on thin and fat genes. Also, give this video a thumbs up if it helped clear things up for you, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on next week's meet. I will see you in the next one.